Have you ever had a really cool campaign idea laid out right in front of you? Endless promise, dream campaign, and it gets snatched right out of your fingertips just as it was getting started. This is exactly that story. Also known as CritCrab's personal hell, coming right up after we thank today's sponsor. Grab your gear, dungeon divers, cause the ocean's treasure has just got deeper. Shepeku has launched direct subscriptions on their website, and you're going to want to click on that faster than a mimic snaps shut. For the best price, dive into the complete fantasy bundle. That's maps, scenes, and tokens. We're talking 6,000 high-res battle maps with animated versions and 20 plus variants per map. Pair that with 2,000 fantasy scenes perfectly matched to your maps, each with different times of day, moods, and weather. Your story flows like the tide to the shore. And don't forget the 300 plus hand-drawn tokens, plus the legendary token builder. Mix and match limbs, gear, backgrounds, click the link, grab the bundle, and start snapping up scenes worthy of your campaign's claws. See you there. My character was approved by the DM, then left to rot because the world wasn't meant for them. I made a character with a fear of humans, a backstory that the DM approved, only to find out the world was 99% human. The story will involve myself, the DM, and 3 other players we will call Sam, Tilly, and Joe. For this story, Sam and Tilly don't really play much part in it. However, Joe plays what we will call the minor antagonist role, with the DM playing the major antagonist. For some context, all players, including myself, are rather new to D&D. As such, the DM said that he created a world for us to play in. It's going to be a relaxed environment with a story to follow, but it's not so serious that we can't explore and have fun as well. Sounds amazing so far. I'm excited, and we all chat on Discord about the characters we are going to play. The DM does give us some rules for character creation, but nothing major. Sam and Tilly decide to play halfling twins, with Joe playing an elf. I love the idea of playing an Aarakocra and talk to the DM about it. He mentions how he doesn't like the race because of flying, which gives me an idea. I make my character's background and send it to the DM. He loves it. My character is an Aarakocra, however, he's been cursed and is unable to fly or use his wings. He's searching for a way to remove the curse so he can return home. Alright, stop post. This is one of those collaborative moments that really make tabletop role-playing games. The DM is 100% allowed to not permit a flying race, not just for him, but because his campaign would be less fun for everybody if one person can just fly. People can see a DM banning certain things as controlling or arbitrary, but I don't always see it that way. It has a place. Imagine if he prepared a mountain scaling quest with a creaky drawbridge, altitude challenges, the possibility of falling, and someone can just fly on through. But of course, the DM welcomes collaboration, and together they make a really cool story. Bravo! Imagine at the end of the campaign, the Aarakocra gets the ability to fly back and gets a lot of special opportunities to use it in the final boss fight, and then flies back up to their homeland. That's tabletop role-playing games. That's collaborative storytelling, and that's what I like to see. Anyways, back to the terror. Additionally, we have it that my character was a naturally trusting type, and so when he was cursed, it was due to a betrayal of those he considered close friends, who also happen to be humans. As such, he is very frightened of humans and will avoid them if possible. Again, the DM loves this and says it will have some great RP elements to it. I'm happy, and so time rolls on until we get to our first session. It's a jailbreak, it's super fun, and we all have an amazing time. Session 2 and 3 are more of the same, as we travel in the wilds learning about each other's characters and my reasons for being there. By session 4, my character's fear of humans had been explored and explained, which was all fine and amazing, until the DM started to talk about the first town we were approaching. He mentioned how everyone we met on the road was human, and how we drew a lot of strange looks. At this point, I didn't think too much of it, enjoying the RP of hiding behind halfling twins. That was until the DM mentioned how the land we're on is dominated by humans, Non-humans are extremely rare, and so finding other non-humans would be extremely rare. At this point, I'm sort of panicking, because I don't see how my character can work in this world. We end the session with just us outside of the town, and I go to try and talk to the DM. I explain my worries about how my character wouldn't want to enter a town due to it being populated by humans. My concern is met with indifference. I'm informed that the next few sessions are town sessions, and if my character is too scared to enter, then I will just have to wait outside until the rest of the party is done. Stop the post. Because what? Huh? Fumble of the century. I'm not even mad at the DM. Okay, I'm a little mad at the DM, but I'm mostly reeling by this massive missed opportunity. When OP said that they worry their character won't work in the world, I thought that's precisely what makes it a good story. I bet your character feels the exact same way. A lot of real people right now don't feel like they fit in this world. Some people feel like an Aarakocra bird person, wings clipped, in a world full of humans. Some people are rightfully afraid. Some people are just traumatized or cursed. That's why we love the story of someone who can't do something but has to do it anyways. That's the Lord of the Rings. A few little hobbits who have to be bigger than all of the taller and stronger people around them. So I'm sitting here thinking, what a great story. I bet you don't fit in. I bet you will never feel like you fit in. I bet you will keep trying and failing to fit in with other people and fix yourself, and then you will finally embrace yourself at the end. Anyways, the DM wants to run shopping sessions or whatever, I guess, so we don't need to do any of that cool character stuff. Roll post. Disappointed and honestly upset, I message the other players asking what I should do. This is where Joe decides to become the minor antagonist. He messages, "Maybe you shouldn't have come up with a dumb backstory like that. And it's rather arrogant of you to expect the DM to change his world for your character. Please bear in mind that I didn't know anything about the DM's world when making my character, and he knew my character's background and approved it beforehand. With a heavy heart, I then tell the DM that I don't think my character can work in this world, and I ask if it's okay to make a new character. He agrees, and I make a very basic character that would fit in with the world. No, don't do that. This is like the end of Breakfast Club when the preppy girl fixes the goth punk girl and does her makeup and makes her like preppy and normal and like totally not gross or lame, so the jock will like totally like her. I feel like I'm imbuing my idea of an awesome campaign onto OP. These plot points are never really brought up by anybody but me, but I feel everybody would agree that it's pretty sad and a big missed opportunity that OP has to change their character when it isn't really their fault. Anyways, roll post. It's here again that Joe decides to continue his antagonist role at the start of the next session. The DM introduces my character to the group, and from the start, Joe, under the guise of roleplay, makes playing hell for me. He doesn't trust anything my character says. He counteracts anything I do, and makes it very clear that I'm suddenly not welcome. Oh, isn't it convenient we lose a beloved member of our party, and suddenly you show up? I don't trust you at all. The reason I call Joe the minor antagonist is that, like me, he was also new to D&D, and maybe he just thought this all counted as good roleplay. Meanwhile, the DM did nothing to try and help. This goes on for about 3 sessions before I just quit. Because I had swapped characters, the DM didn't have anything for my new character. So I became, in a sense, an NPC, with no story elements or anything related to my character. I was just along for the ride. I haven't picked up D&D again since. I do love to make characters and come up with backgrounds for them. I'm fully aware I could have done things better as well. I could have just changed my character's background to remove the fear of humans. I could have tried to enjoy the new character more and maybe leaned more into the RP with Joe to get him to trust me. But overall, I think it was doomed from the moment I made my character. No, it's okay. I'm not mad. We all drop a few passes on our way to the end zone. It said that everybody was new except maybe the DM, but the DM also reads as new because his mistakes seem less malicious and more lazy or inexperienced. I saw all of these pieces falling into place that require a lot of special thought and cooperation, and kind of forgot how new everybody was. So while what I was talking about was possible, I got a little excited. This is one of those stories where everybody can learn a small lesson and move on. Anyways, we got another story. DM anger backfires. Years ago, I, the Ranger, and two friends of mine, Cleric and Barbarian, were playing in a 3.5e game with our DM. It was the start of what was supposed to be a long campaign, but we didn't get past the first session. We were level 1 to start, and our company was traveling along the Sword Coast in an attempt to rescue a kidnapped villager from the hands of some goblins. We were rolling random encounters and somehow managed to avoid everything the DM was wanting to throw at us. We later learned that he had a chart that had random encounters based on d20 rolls, and we somehow managed to avoid every roll that would have resulted in a combat encounter. Somehow, this was the start to the DM's pettiness. Alright, stop the post. I'm not really a random encounter hater, but this is the exact reason I don't really do them anymore. Using random encounters is not a flaw, but the reason I used to do them but don't really do them anymore is literally right here. I get excited creating all of the random encounters, and then mid-game I find that one of them would fit this scenario really well. And then one day I found that I just didn't really roll on my encounter table at all. I just prepared a set list of fun events for dull moments. Again, sometimes I give serious advice. This isn't really that. I'm just sharing my experience with random encounter tables. I don't see them as problems. I do things a little differently. Now here comes the serious advice though. DM, buddy, you're not cheating if you just pick your favorite encounter. The rules don't say you have to choose one. This was just unnecessary self-inflicted agitation. Anyways, roll post. We finally reached our destination and managed to defeat a group of goblins with only minimum fuss. The DM started to accuse us of fudging rolls. We were in person and literally rolling in front of him. After calming him down, we continued the game. As we were guiding the villager back home, he tried to engage in conversation with us roleplay-wise. In our defense, we were all fairly new to the game and were kind of new to roleplay conversation within the game, so we all gave the barest of answers and just tried to continue our journey to get our rewards. Apparently, this was the straw that broke his back. He got mad and said that we weren't playing right and we needed to change. We tried explaining things from our perspective, but rather than hearing us out, he decided to try and punish us. He made the villager transform into a young adult bronze dragon in an attempt to TPK. I won initiative somehow and rolled my shortcomings attack. 20. The DM flew into a rage and demanded I re-roll to confirm the critical. I did, and rolled another natural 20. Really? Getting a double 20 is a 1 in 400 chance. I've seen it happen many times as I've been playing for well over a decade now. I'm not denying it, but geez, that was perfectly timed. Whenever I double crit, it's like against meaningless stuff. Still, anyway, pretty sure I saw fire erupt behind him. He was fuming so much, he told me I had to re-roll it one more time to ensure I hit. Again, I was fairly new, so I bought into it. I rolled and nailed a third nat 20 in some kind of miracle. Alright, we jumped from a 1 in 400 chance to 1 in 8,000. We know the DM has accused you of cheating before, so it's fair to assume that you've been rolling really well up to this point. Then to top it all off by dropping 3 nat 20s in a row, right when faced with a huge scary monster? Look, cheating or not, I can easily see a DM start tweaking over this. I've seen players have sessions where they're just on fire, but with this one it's not only rolling really well, it's the timing. It's timing it exactly right. I've never seen this before. If I was telling someone to keep rolling natural 20s in a row, It would be to prove that they're cheating, not to confirm the critical hit. I'm not saying the DM was right, and I'm not accusing OP of cheating, but if someone can reliably roll and re-roll a 20 exactly when it matters, I would make them test drive my d20, because it doesn't go that way when I want it to. It never does. He closed his eyes, did an exaggerated, heavy sigh, and said, "My arrow pierced the dragon's eye, splintered into its brain, and felled it instantly." We were all in shock, and were about to celebrate when he abruptly packed up all of his books and sheets and left. We were left visibly confused, and even though he was a friend of ours, we never played with him again. Years later, I'm a forever DM, and I just can't help but wonder why he got so petty about everything. Maybe y'all can figure that part out for me. We've long since parted ways, but I haven't let something like that turn me away from this awesome game. End post. In the beginning of the story, it says that you're level 1 adventurers. A young adult bronze dragon could easily survive many critical hits by a level 1 ranger, by an entire level 1 party. It would be like poking a tank with a needle. So what's strange to me is, the DM didn't have to withdraw. After the bronze dragon was in play, he didn't need to try to wreck everybody. Even if every single roll the ranger made was a triple crit, it would only take about 1 or 2 hits to completely flatten every single person in the party. I don't know, just bite the ranger and breath weapon everybody else and it's as good as over. So the DM didn't leave because he just got outsmarted or outplayed. There's something deeper here. I feel really bad rubber stamping a story as fake because I also have a lot of crazy stories and I don't tell some of them because I don't want people to think I'm lying. But what I would like to do is hear the DM side of this story. What would he say? He might say something like, yeah, this guy just repeatedly rolled nat 20s over and over and over again. I don't know how he did that. I kept making him re-roll and he just couldn't roll anything but a 23 straight times. So I just packed up my stuff and left. Anyways, what do I know? I'm just a crab on the internet reading Reddit posts. Till next time.